The wind cut through the busy downtown street like a sharp whisper, curling around the edges of designer coats and tugging at the scarves of passersby. Cafes buzzed with warmth and laughter, the golden scent of cinnamon rolls and roasted coffee, wafting through the air, but on the far edge of the square. Beneath a flickering street lamp and beside a trash bin, sat a man whose presence was easy to overlook, if you weren't paying attention. His coat was too thin for the season. Patched, in several places, his hands were cracked and red from the cold, and he cradled a crumpled paper cup of coffee as if it were a sacred flame. His name was Graham, though no one had said it aloud in weeks. Every day he sat on that same bench, quietly observing the world pass him by. He wasn't aggressive, didn't beg, and didn't speak. He just, existed. Until that evening, a young family bustled out of a nearby bakery, their arms full of food, and their cheeks glowing from the warmth inside. The father laughed at something the mother said, adjusting the scarf around her neck, with a tenderness that made Graham's heart ache with memory. And between them danced a little girl. She couldn't have been more than 6, with springy blonde curls and eyes as wide and blue as a summer sky. She spun in circles, crumbs from a sugar cookie tumbling down her coat, and then stopped, her gaze landing directly on Graham. For a moment, he thought she would look away, pretend he wasn't there, like everyone else did. But she didn't. She walked right up to him. Her parents called after her, worried but not fast enough. Hi, she said brightly, standing just a foot away from him. Graham looked around, unsure if she was talking to someone else, but her eyes were fixed on him, fearless and innocent. He cleared his throat. Hello, what's your name? He hesitated. Graham. I'm Ellie. She beamed. Then, tilting her head, she added the 6 words that would alter the course of everything. Please, eat with us. Come on. Graham blinked. What? She pointed to the table outside the bakery where her parents were now awkwardly smiling and unsure what to do. We have extra food. Mommy said we ordered too much. Her mom nodded hesitantly, more out of kindness than certainty. Her dad looked unsure, but didn't object. Graham wanted to say no. He'd said no 1,000 times before. Pride was a cruel friend, but the only one he had left. But Ellie had already taken his hand, and something about the warmth of that tiny grip broke through the cold steel walls around his heart. He stood, as he sat with them. Ellie handed him a warm roll, buttered and soft. He held it for a second, like it was made of gold. I don't want to take your food, he said, barely above a whisper. You're not taking it. Ellie smiled. We're sharing. The family ate quietly at first, unsure how to handle the moment, but then Graham told a joke, just a simple one from his childhood, and the dad chuckled. Then Graham shared that he used to be a carpenter. The mom leaned in, interested. Minutes melted into laughter. And for the first time in years, Graham felt seen. Ellie passed him a chocolate chip cookie and said, "You smile like my grandpa used to." He almost cried. They stayed at that table until the streetlights blinked on and the cafe closed behind them. The parents stood up, brushing crumbs off their coats, ready to leave. But Ellie didn't move. Instead, she pulled something from her small backpack, a Christmas card she'd made with crayons. In bold, uneven letters, it read, "To someone special, you are not alone." She gave it to him. "Will you be here tomorrow?" she asked. Graham swallowed the lump in his throat. "If it's not too cold, good," she said simply. "Because I'll bring you soup." That night, Graham didn't return to the shelter. He found a dry corner behind the church and tucked the card inside his coat, right against his chest. And for the first time in what felt like forever, he whispered a prayer. Not for food, not for a job, but simply, "Thank you." Morning came with a crisp sky and the sound of life blooming through the city once again. And true to her word, Ellie returned. She came running down the street, her coat flapping like a cape and a thermos clutched tightly in her tiny hands. Her parents followed a few steps behind, each holding bags, one with fresh bread, the other with something warm wrapped in foil. Graham was already there, sitting on the same bench, shaved and looking different, not new, not polished, but awake. Hope flickered in his eyes like sunlight through leaves. "I brought you soup." Ellie beamed, proudly handing it to him. "Tomato, Mommy said it's best when it's cold outside." He took it with both hands, his fingers trembling slightly. "Thank you, Ellie." The mother Rachel and father Tom sat down beside him again, and this time, the silence wasn't awkward. It was peaceful. Rachel looked over and smiled. "You know, Ellie's been talking about you all night. Says you used to be a carpenter." Graham nodded slowly. "Built homes for 23 years. Framing, trim, flooring, you name it." Tom raised his brows. "That's hard work. I respect that." "I was good at it," Graham said, his voice tinged with pride and loss, until the accident. There was a pause. I fell, broke my leg in 3 places, lost my job. Then the bills piled up. Then the house. And well, here I am. Asterisk Ellie, innocent as ever, asked softly, but where's your family? Asterisk Graham looked away. Gone. My wife passed a long time ago. No kids. After I lost everything, I just sort of disappeared. Figured no one would notice. Asterisk, but we noticed. Ellie said. It was quiet after that, quiet in the way that heals instead of hurts. Later, as they were packing up to leave, Rachel reached into her coat pocket and pulled out a folded piece of paper. Asterisk, I know this might sound strange, she began, but my brother runs a small renovation company. He's been looking for someone who knows old school carpentry, hard to find these days. If you want, I could talk to him. Asterisk Graham blinked, stunned. You'd do that for me. Asterisk she smiled. Ellie's right. You're not invisible. Not to us. 2 weeks later, Graham stood outside a house in the suburbs, measuring wood under a bright sky, his hands covered in sawdust, a badge of honor he'd missed dearly. Asterisk, he had a clean shirt on, a fresh haircut, and a phone in his pocket that, Rachel insisted, he carry, just in case. Asterisk, every afternoon after school, Ellie would stop by with a drawing or a snack, running across the grass with that same wide smile that started it all. Asterisk, the bench where they first met now sat empty most days, but Graham would still visit it on Sundays, just to sit and remember. Asterisk, one Sunday afternoon, as he was about to leave, he noticed something new, a small brass plaque, freshly fixed to the wooden backrest. He bent down to read it. Greater than this bench is dedicated to second chances, and to Ellie, who reminded us all that kindness changes everything. His eyes filled with tears, because sometimes, it takes the smallest voice to echo the loudest truth. Asterisk, no one is ever truly forgotten. Sometimes, all it takes is a seat at the table and the courage of a child to say, please, eat with us.